Nightmares happen when you're wide awake.
Just log every call you make in here, and that way it won't be a problem. You bet.
Living with a roommate.
I have a sucky roommate too, but you just have to deal. Maybe the world revolved around you where you used to live, but it's share time now.
A challenge that could push Buffy to a place she's never been before.
I think we need to talk.
An all-new Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It begins like a bad dream.
Just log every call you make in here, and that way it won't be a problem.
Living with a roommate.
You know what your problem is? You?
Could push Buffy to a place she's never been before.
I think we need to talk.
An all-new Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
I'm plus-size model and actor James.
Okay. And this week, we will be diving into Season 4, Episode 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, entitled Living Conditions.
We will be doing that.
So this is an episode about Guantanamo Bay?
It is an episode about Guantanamo Bay. It went real dark.
Yeah, we go dark on this show.
Yeah, it gets real dark on in this episode. So,
well, James, long time no see. How you been? What's going on? What's new?
Nothing's new, really. Still here in Michigan. There's a possibility I may extend my stay. An additional No, just an additional month. But we'll see. I haven't decided yet. I do have a home that I'm paying for and paying bills for that I'm not living in, so that's problematic.
Yeah, that's
so
that's an attachment. In prior years past when I came up here, I was living with a shared household with my sister, so I didn't have to worry about a lot of that stuff. Right.
But now it's all on me, so it's kind of like paying rent and utilities for a home I'm not living in for 3 months is a little annoying.
Yeah, I can see how that could be a real ass chafer.
But other than that, it's going well. How about you?
Same shit, different day. Nothing to report new. I'm the same loser that I've always been, and will continue to be.
I would do the sad face emoji, but I discovered during editing for the YouTube video last week that even when you're recording the Skype video call, the emojis don't show up.
Oh, okay. So no one knew what the hell we were talking.
Right. It's a good thing you described what was happening.
Yeah, because the people would have been like, "What are they?
What is wrong with them?
If they had strokes?"
Right. Which maybe we have. It's hard to say.
But yeah, you never know. I think when you've had one that bad, you wouldn't know it.
No,
everything
you wouldn't know.
Normal to you, and
right, exactly.
All right, James, why don't you sizzle us up some of these damn delicious dates? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I forgot this is episode 2. It's time to let's talk about some reader mail.
We will. Let's get into some of our listeners and viewers' comments on Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 4, episode 1.
Don't you take us back to season 1, you motherfucker.
the freshman. The freshman. Let's stop over at YouTube. We have a review from our good friend SW. She says, "Hey guys, and Darlene and Catherine."
We gave SW a name, didn't we? And it was something you said was not cool.
You probably did.
Okay.
And I said it was not cool.
Okay.
It would appear it would. So on YouTube, when she comments, it shows up as SW, but her @ is Samantha, something something. So I'm presuming her name is Samantha.
Okay. Well,
But I
should be careful about presuming.
right. So I will call her SW, as that's what she shows up as.
I know what I was saying. S-dub.
Oh, SW.
S-dub?
I don't think I would have had an issue with that. That
You
seems
clearly-
harmless enough.
You tried to cancel me.
that might be possible. I am one of those woke libs.
I know.
Yeah. So she says, "Hi guys, hi Darlene and Catherine. I've been waiting!" Multiple exclamation points, which warmed my heart.
Did it warm the cockles of your heart?
It warmed the cockles of my heart. Perhaps the subcoccygeal region.
Subcoccygeal region. Okay.
Subcoccygeal region. She says, so after hearing this pod and Angel episode 1, I feel like I'm going to have a disclaimer so no one gets mad at me. My unpopular opinion here, just that, and I do not share them so others can agree and feel validated or convince anyone to my thinking. I just offer a different view, and these are TV shows, so while some opinions seem harsh, it's fictional, and it's not that serious in my eyes. It's not that serious in our eyes either.
Agreed.
SW.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been listening to the podcast.
You know how we take the shit out of this show, so...
Right. And then she goes on to say, I enjoy season 4 quite a lot, actually. Well, you know what? Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. This person
let's move
clearly
on to the next.
no.
A lot actually, but to explain would be giving spoilers, so I'll just leave it at that. Thank you, SW. We do have some first-time viewers to both,
and we happen to be the worst offenders of spoiling. So let's keep it that way.
One of us does actively try to avoid it.
I try, but you won't let me.
No, not me. No. Shall I just leave it at that? Riley season 4 is okay. This just gets worse and worse, SW.
Damn it, S-dub.
No. I can deal with him, even like him a little. Season 5 Riley is absolute trash, but that discussion is for another day. Yes. Sirs, I am a born and raised Nebraska Cornhusker, live in Texas now. Riley is from Iowa, our sworn enemy to the east. There is a difference. I'm serious. Iowa and Nebraska don't like each other, but I'm just kidding with you two. I could tell the writers, like most of Hollywood writers, don't know what's in the Midwest beside corn, but one of you said Idaho, and I laughed because that's potatoes there and not even Midwest. But since you don't like Riley, you could give a rat's ass, and I respect that. I'm the one that said Idaho, and I actually said Idaho to kind of illustrate your point about how writers in Hollywood don't seem to really understand the Midwest, or
they think the Midwest is anything that isn't California.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of why I said it. Why I said Idaho Cornhusker is to kind of drive home that point. That
what I should say, really, is Hollywood writers. They think anything that isn't California or New York is the Midwest.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything between California and New York is the Midwest.
Right. New Mexico, Midwest.
Right. Canada, Midwest.
Yeah. Nevada, Mexico. Right. It's all in the Midwest.
Right. Alaska, Midwest.
Oh yeah, that's the heart of the Midwest.
It's like they think that's the breadbasket.
It's the crossroads of America, my friend.
So that's why I said Idaho, just to, like I said, to drive home that point that these writers, he's just a conglomeration of all these false Midwest
stereotypical Midwest
and ideals.
Bullshit
that they don't really understand. Because I'm from Illinois, Jeremy's from Indiana, so we're very familiar with the Midwest.
We're strongly acquainted with it.
Right. Can I ask who in the F who went to high school in Sunnydale would go to UC Sunnydale, leave, get as far away from that hellhole. It's
It's a literal hellhole.
Right. It's a valid question.
Well, we know Buffy can't because it's her job to be there.
Right. We know Buffy has chosen to stay because she feels obligated to be there, and we know that Willow has stayed because she feels obligated to stay with Buffy, and she wants to help Buffy in her fight. So,
but Cordelia did not feel that draw, and she has left and gone to L.A.
She has left.
So Cordelia is the one who's like, yeah, I'm leaving the fucking Hellmouth, and I'm literally never going back, and she doesn't.
And Xander is a slacker, so we know he wasn't going to make it far from Sunnydale on any permanent basis.
Yeah.
We already know that they know that place is effed. Honestly, how is there a population in Sunnydale? But fine, I'll get over this. Mama Joyce isn't footing the bill. No way. Ghost Daddy Summers gotta be.
Yeah, I never considered Ghost Daddy.
I mean, Hank could be footing some of the bill. But
like our other
right,
reader,
Buffy did specify in the episode that her mom was gonna ship bricks when she got the bill for her books.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're splitting it.
Maybe mom's paying for the books and dad's paying for everything else.
Right. Who knows?
Because she can only pay for the. I mean, a hooer's salary is only going to allow you to pay for books.
Right. I have never seen a professor treat anyone like that, and I went to community college. Just a joke. Haha. What a nutsack. Guaranteed he doesn't get laid like Snyder. R.I.P. in hell.
Right.
We all know
Snyder was a panty dropping pimp.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen him?
I have.
Angel wishes he had those kind of fucking that kind of game and those kind of looks.
I mean, yeah.
Come on, bro.
Right.
5 foot deuce with no hair,
bald and a big ass nose,
and a big old fucking satellite ears. Come on.
Right. He's doing something to me right now.
I can hear moisture in the listeners right now.
I can literally hear panties dropping,
and I hear waterfalls.
Wow.
And you
yummy.
Daddy.
You know, Daddy. You know, I like Sunday, but that's of course I like any villain with a wicked sense of sarcasm and humor. Spike, Glory, Faith, Mr. Trick, hell, even Ethan Rain. I would have liked her around as the big bad if given better lackeys than the one we got. Yeah, I liked Sunday too.
I was fine with her.
Yeah, I had no issues.
But she totally got douched at the end.
Yeah, I had no issues with Sunday as a character in that season opener. And yeah, I mean, you know, small spoiler alert, compared to what we end up with as the season overall big bad, I do kind of agree that having Sunday as the main season 4 villain would have not been a terrible idea. Yeah, there's a lot of things from we touched on it last week. There's a lot of things from this season opener that I would have liked to have seen them carry through the rest of the season. Pedro Pascal's character, we talked about that. I think keeping Sunday around as the main villain would have been a good idea too. So, Jeremy, anything?
No, I've had a small stroke. No, I agree wholeheartedly, and I also would say I don't want to give any spoilers away, but let's just say there is a female big bad of another season coming up who I like this Sunday more than I like her.
Okay.
And I had no problems with Sunday other than her goofy lackeys.
Right.
But I mean, they could have beefed that character up some, a really old, powerful, vampire who's just, kicking Buffy's ass,
Right.
And, I liked her. She was, except, like I said, that last fight scene, it was just, she got douched out, but,
right.
What are you gonna do?
Yes, Giles irked me this ep. Like, get the V, sir, but be a human. That British V doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Right.
Buff was blatantly obvious that she really needed someone to open up to. How long has it been, Giles? Since Joyce? Oh well, in the end, he makes it right, and Daddy Giles is all our fave again.
Yeah.
Daddy!
Daddy.
Daddy!
It's
Daddy
true.
Giles!
It's true, but he was definitely being a major cock in that scene.
I very rarely, if ever, will you hear me say I did not like Giles in any particular given moment, and I didn't like him in that scene.
Yeah, he was I'll bet you that's Joss Whedon. That's exactly how Joss Whedon would have acted in that scene, you know?
Yeah.
It's Jossie coming through.
Yeah. Geez, that umbrella didn't even make it a year before it got busted.
Right. And one of our other fans said, you know what? She should have used that broken piece of that umbrella to stake that fucking bitch. And I was like, yeah, that would have been good.
That would have been good.
I bet none of those fucking writers ever even thought of that.
Probably not.
You know, because none of them probably even knew like where that prop came from and what it meant. You know what I'm saying? So they were like, step on that.
I just love it when Buff kicks ass and gets sassy, as we all do. We love it when our main characters are the main character.
Yeah.
I mean, she continues, so I will never call this a trash season. How can you? It's a trash season. I just did it.
It's a very trash season.
We just did it. Hush, second fave episode. Something Blue, Giles's quips make the whole episode. Pangs, Spike is that episode. New Man, dynamic of Giles and Spike is fantastic. Then added Ethan. This year's Girl, Who Are You? My favorite ep. Those performances and Restless are fantastic. They are. I mean, Jeremy and I said it last week. There's some outstanding stuff in this season. There really is.
Yeah.
But we both feel that overall it seriously lacks compared to the first three.
It is a swing and a miss. This episode, I'm sorry, this season,
right,
for me is a swing and a big whiff.
And Jeremy and I were actually talking about this before we started recording, and I feel that a big part of the reason there are standout episodes and moments in this season, but overall this season feels like such a fail, is because, again, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but in my opinion and in Jeremy's opinion, the main storyline for the season and the things that are encompassed in that just aren't well done.
Absolutely.
It could have been executed so much better in my opinion, and I believe that's Jeremy's opinion as well. Jeremy?
Oh yeah. To me, as far as this show goes, and as far as Buffy the Vampire Slayer goes, the most important thing for a season is the big bad of that season, because that's what they have established going up to this point.
Right.
So it's all about the big bad of that season and how they introduce it and how they weave it into the other episodes. And therein lies my problem with this season, is I think the big bad, along with another big reveal, which I wouldn't call the big bad, but kind of a thorn in the side, is just so, for me, now it's just for me, it's just so meh that I'm like,
it taints the whole season.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even care about this. And then the big bad is like, really? That's kind of a popcorn fart. You know, I don't know.
She goes on to say, those eps are funny and written well. Performances and characters stand out. Now, I will gladly roast right along with you on the complete dumpster fire eps of Beer Bad, Superstar. I don't care. I will defend this opinion. Harsh Light of Day, Where the Wild Things Are, and all initiative crap. So can't wait to release my sarcasm. And again, we agree with you. Everything.
It sounds like we're going to agree, actually.
Right, on quite a bit. Right, yeah.
It's just, I think the only difference is you and I allowed the initiative and the big bad of this season to just ruin the whole season for us. Whereas she's looked past that,
right,
and taking the good and being like, you know what, it's not that bad. Which, I mean, I totally get it.
Oh, yeah, I get that too, and kudos to her for being better than us,
for being better humans.
Right. You know what, SW? You can co-host the podcast from now on. I'm done. Goodbye.
Yep.
No.
See ya.
No. But yeah, I agree with Jeremy. It sounds like we're actually going to agree with each other quite a bit over the course of this season, when all is said and done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most people's issues with season 4 is the entire plot of the initiative and the big bad still to come in Riley. And I have to say, I really think they dropped the ball with the initiative. Written the organization better. Anyway, I'm excited for more of what you two have to say, and of course, Darlene. I know you two may not enjoy this season, but I do, and I'm giddy for my favorite episodes to come and hear you just shit all over them. See you next week.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're probably not going to shit on your favorite episodes,
right? Because there's
those
a good
the ones
chance
that are going to be our favorite ones.
Yeah, the episodes you outlined there as being outstanding for the season, I think Jeremy and I, for the most part, agree with you on that.
Yeah. We only hate all the other ones.
Yeah. So
now, just really quick, before
also, well, go ahead. You go ahead and say what you were going to say, and then I'll throw in what I was going to say.
Okay, it's really quick. I'm just going to say, because I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I'm just going to say the initiative is just my problem with the initiative all along, and to this day, is it's just not believable in this world for me. That's my main problem, is that it's, and I know everybody's saying it's not believable. It's a show with vampires and demons, and yet that I get. And that's the world that they have established. But this whole initiative thing, and people will see as the season goes along who haven't seen it yet, it's just everything about it to me is unbelievable. And I'll just leave it at that, and we can go into more detail as the episodes go. But that's my problem with the initiative. That's all.
Right. What I was going to say is, we should maybe have a serious talk off recording. I think
bees. Your dad didn't go over that with you?
No, I don't know where the peas and carrots go.
Oh,
when you're with a woman.
Oh, okay.
We'll
go over that.
No. I think since she has garnered a fan following of her own, we need to have a serious discussion about having Darlene co-host the podcast with us,
or even take over for me, at least for season 4, so that I don't kill myself.
Anyway,
well, if nothing else, maybe we could get her to be a what do you call that? Like on a news show, like a contributing editor.
A contributing editor.
You know, she could pop in, have a little.
We could have a live
this week's episode.
We could have a live discussion with her as a first-time viewer of both Buffy and Angel. That would probably be fun. But anyway, let's hop on over to Facebook. Our first comment on last week's episode. Again, we're still on Buffy. Season 4, episode 1, The Freshman, comes from our good friend Catherine, and she says, "Yay! My Monday morning drive just got better. Glad you guys are back. I am glad that the storm was nothing, and Jeremy didn't have his equipment destroyed. James, I'm glad your eye is better. When you said what happened to it, I got chills. I used to work for a retina doc and have seen some shit, but that sounds horrible. Thank you. My eye is much better. I appreciate your ick factor you got from hearing about it and your concern.
Is it really better, or is that just a glass eye?
It's a glass eye.
Okay.
It's better in that I removed the entire eye myself.
Now, I've always said that if I ever had to have a glass eye, I'd get one with a fish in it.
I said so when the ulcer first developed and my eye was really bad. I said, well, worst case scenario, the eye has to come out. I was like, and I 100% want to get a glass Marty Feldman style eye. You don't know who Marty Feldman is?
No.
Oh, have you seen Young Frankenstein?
With
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder and the older guy, bald guy from yeah. I've seen. God dang, it's been. You talking about the guy that played Eeyore?
Igor, yeah.
Or
yeah.
Igor? I said.
Yeah,
Igor.
he had the big bulging eyes.
Yeah.
As I said, I would like to get a Marty Feldman eye if I had to get a glass eye. I'm sure Jeremy's very glad to hear that you're glad his equipment didn't get fucking fried.
Yeah. That wouldn't be good. I've got a lot invested in this stuff, and
right. And we're both happy to hear that you're excited to have us back on Monday morning.
Are we excited?
Yes.
Yes. Of course we're excited. It's hilarious it's weird to me that
people are excited to hear us.
That we talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know?
Yeah, I mean, every time I see posts like this, I get a kick out of it. I'm like, why do they even care what we have to say? But they enjoy it, and at the end of the day, I mean, that's what we set out to do. Buddy.
Well, yeah, I mean that is the point. I'm just saying, I still find it weird that anyone gives a shit what I have to say about anything.
Right. But we're glad you do. We're glad all of you are listening.
That goes without saying.
This is for sure not the best season, but I can't wait until you guys get to Hush and the Halloween episode. They are excellent. Yes, again.
I think we're all in agreement.
I think we're all going to
have seen this. Right. We're all in agreement on what's good
and what's
horrible.
Definitely some of the best episodes of the show, but the rest of them aren't too bad, but not great, but not too bad. LOL. And we get Blondie Bear eventually, so that helps. Yes. Does it though?
Yes, it does, you motherfucker. Yes, it does. Let's be honest. Who Blondie Bear comes back, Daddy comes back and goes on to be basically God. I mean, come on. For the rest of this show and into another.
I'm sorry. I love that Daddy has taken on a life of its own over the course of these 4 seasons.
So,
it makes me laugh that you always laugh every time I do it.
Because I'm never expecting it. And you always hit me with it out of nowhere. And
she goes on to say, I giggle every time I see the scene in the cemetery where Buffy and Willow miss the vampire rising and he just sneaks off. Yeah, I mean, that's classic Buffy.
He just looks down and sees all the death implements and he's like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, that's classic Buffy. It's especially a classic Buffy cold open.
Yeah. Just like when Angel jumped in his car and he's like, shit, it's the wrong car.
Right. I thought it was super weird, too, that Buffy was so lost on campus. The amount of patrolling she does through Sunnydale, she should know it like the back of her hand. At least the outs... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just want to stop with that point is that, when my sister brought that up in her comments, and I was like, you know what? Because I've never been to college and stuff. It's like, I never even stopped to think about that. Like, shouldn't she have toured this place ahead of time, at least probably a couple of times, and had a map and been like, okay, that's the building I need to go. You know what I'm saying? I never even thought of it until everyone started bringing it up.
Well, so I'll mention this now. I was going to mention it when we got to Darlene's.
Did you do that when you were in Harvard? Did you go and?
No, I just showed up blind.
Okay.
I was going to mention this when we get to Darlene's comments, but I'll mention it now. I went to community college. My community college was literally 10 minutes away from my house.
Mm-hmm.
I never set foot on that campus until the day of my first classes.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I would have always thought that. Well, maybe because I'm a better prepared person than you. No, okay. Me personally, if I was going to go to college, I would have definitely gone at least once because I remember going to my high school in the summer before my freshman year, because my best friend's sister had just graduated, and she's like, "Hey, do you guys want to go up to the high school?" 'Cause, this is the mid '90s, guys, early to mid '90s, so you could actually go into schools and walk around. You didn't have to have like a police escort or anything. So
Right.
she's like, "Do you want to go up to the school and I'll show you guys around? Some of the basics and stuff." And we were like, "Hell yeah," because we're coming from a middle school. That's a one level, one floor middle school going into a two leveled, pretty big high school. And
Right.
so we're like, yeah, hell yeah. And she took us around, showed us some stuff. So I could have seen myself going ahead of time to, college, walk around a little bit and be like, okay, so that's where the bathroom is.
Right.
That's where the snack machines are.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I did all my enrollment and everything online. I will correct my previous statement. The first time I set foot on campus was, I believe, it was 2 days before my first class, because I went to get the books I needed.
So you're a lot
for my classes, but I didn't walk around the campus. I went to the campus bookstore and I got my books and I left.
Fucking millennial, swear.
Oh my god. She says, at least the outside, not necessarily the classrooms. That media teacher was a total dick, and when I first watched this episode, I was like, oh, Maggie Walsh is going to be a bitch throughout all of the season, like Snyder. Riley is definitely a hottie, and I can see why Buffy wanted to climb that tree, but he is the absolute worst. He is such a whiny little bitch. Sorry for any spoilers, Darlene.
Yeah, I was wrong, because I think every female perspective we've gotten thus far has been like, oh yeah, Riley's hot.
Right.
See, to me, he just looks like, I'm not saying he looks bad or he's ugly or but to me, I mean, maybe it's because I'm comparing him to David Boreanaz. But
right. I mean, no one stands a chance against David Boreanaz.
So maybe that's why. But to me, he just looks like an average guy, and average Joe. Maybe it's because he's tall. Maybe that's why they're into him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he has no David Boreanaz.
No. How could it be? The vamp crew was super annoying, and I'm glad they got what was coming to them. And I'm glad Giles pulled his head out of his ass and realized he could help and have his own adult life.
Yeah.
That made me so sad when they're like, Giles is too old to have a life. My husband is the age he is there, and I'm not far behind. Yeah, Jeremy and I are the same age Giles would have been at this point too. So
I'm even older, so
I'm
already in the retirement community.
Xander, as usual, is a dumbass. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's sad that Brendan started down the shitty path that he's currently on during this season. He could have done so much more, but nope, he's a toxic piece of shit, just like he who must not be named.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a shame.
See, I wanted to bring up about that point that you can almost see it in this episode. I'm sorry, the episode we're talking about, not today's episode. You can almost see it, like that he's not 100% there.
Yeah, I think we're about to hit Darlene's comment. I think she mentions that he didn't seem Xander like disheveled, and I was gonna mention that then. Like, it's I have no doubt in my mind that that's 100% a byproduct of Nikki Brendan starting down
activities,
right? Starting down the path of debauchery and sin that he went down.
Yes, preach to me, brother.
She says, all in all, I give the episode 3 shitty professors.
I think we went 4.
Yeah, we went 4. Yeah. Well, I'll wait till we're done with Darlene's before I say what I was going to say. Then we've got Darlene's comment. Hope you guys enjoyed your hiatus, but I'm happy it's over. I missed you both. We missed you too. You have my messenger handle, though. You could have messaged me anytime you wanted, Darlene. Just saying.
Whoa, hey, just for the record, she doesn't even fucking message me. Okay.
All I'm saying is slide into my DMs.
Whoa! I'm gonna mute out of this because I'm gonna throw up in my mouth.
The way Buffy was acting, I kept wondering, has she never been to UC Sunnydale before? Willow mentioned in the cold open that it was 5 miles from the high school. How on earth is it possible that Buffy has never been there, toured it, etc.? Well, like I said in the last comment, I never toured my college, and I lived 10 minutes away. So,
Well, and as I said, fucking millennial. See, my
You-
sister and I are Gen Xers, and we would have gone prepared, and we would have thoroughly scouted out the premises, and we would have been ready to go.
sure. I believe of that of Darlene.
My sister would have trusted.
I believe
Trust
that.
me.
I believe that of
She would have had a
Darlene.
hand-drawn map that was literally perfect, like that would have matched a Google map that she would have done from memory. I'm not kidding.
But like I said, I 100% believe that of Darlene. You, on the other hand,
Yeah, no, I would have slept in and been like, fuck it, I'll just check it out the day I go.
as someone with university experience, as soon as Buffy walked into her dorm room, I yelled, "Oh
Yeah.
come on! Oh come
I
on!
did
Dorm
not
rooms
bring
do
this up
not
at
look
all.
like that. Not even close. I felt my intelligence was being insulted. LOL." No, we didn't talk about it.
We didn't talk about it
And
because I
it-
was thinking it when the scene first started, and I was like, I got to bring that up, and then we just went on, and we never.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're right. We didn't talk about it, and I did want to talk about it, and I didn't think about that I wanted to talk about it until 2 times since recording. The first was when Darlene left her comment, and the second was when I was watching this week's episode, and there's a scene with the closet in their dorm room, and I was like, the dorm room. We got to talk about the dorm room this week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because we have to talk about it again when the scene comes up because I have some other questions that I'm not sure about and I need you to answer.
Sure. I spent the majority of the episode shaking my head, asking how Buffy was fighting with a broken arm. Wish the info that it wasn't actually broken hadn't been kept until the end of the episode. Well,
I think
Darlene,
that's kind of the point.
right? I think that is the point. I think the real answer you're looking for is simply Buffy's that much of a badass.
That, and I think it was supposed to be. You were supposed to think, "Wow, she's really fucking hurt." Like how
Right.
she'll be able to,
Right.
you know. But we always forget. We all forget, I think, at times that the Slayer has accelerated healing factor. So it probably was broken when it first happened.
Right.
But she's had. Is it just one? Was it just one day between the first fight and the second fight, or was it 2 days?
I think one.
So it was a good solid 24 hours between the two fights.
Right.
And her being the Slayer, that's more than enough time for her to have not 100% healed, but it surely wasn't broken anymore.
Right. I can relate, James. I had a left corneal abrasion from a contact lens I fell asleep wearing. Did you get to wear an eye patch like I did? I already answered that. Yes, I did. I got to wear an eye patch.
He still does when he's alone.
Yeah, and I talk like a pirate to myself. Arr, arr, Daddy Boreanaz. Daddy David Boreanaz. I've had plenty of corneal abrasions from contact lenses over the years too. I used to wear contacts, but I
am so fidgety with my eyeball. No, I will never put anything in my.
So this bothers you right now?
No, it doesn't actually bother me because it's your eye. I'm like, fuck it, let it fall out. My eyes is the ones I'm worried about.
There's a beach in Michigan. Yes, we talked about that in the comments.
It's really just a sewer treatment plant. But...
It's just a sewer treatment plant, but I like to take my lawn chair and sit out by there.
Oh God, could you imagine the smell?
No, I can't. I couldn't.
Oh God.
Yes, there is a beach in Michigan. Yes, I do know you were only giving me shit. But if anyone would like to see the particular beach I spend my time on, please go over to the Facebook page and look in the comments for this episode. You'll see.
Well, people actually say that, thinking that about Indiana too. They'll say there's no beaches in Indiana. I'm like, excuse me. Yes, there are.
Right. They say it about Chicago too. There's no beaches in Chicago. There's several beaches in Chicago.
Yeah,
they're not particularly great beaches, but they're there.
Our beaches on our part of Lake Michigan are actually very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So are the ones up here.
Years ago.
So yeah. If anyone wants to see me in an eye patch, and B, me sitting on a very lovely beach, you can go see those pictures in the comment section of the Facebook post about last week's episode.
Or James with a peg leg. He also posted a picture of his peg leg.
I did. I actually have both of my legs, but in keeping with the pirate theme for the eye patch, I tie one of my legs up and then put a peg leg on my knee. Yeah.
So you're not really fully committing. I mean, if you were a true cosplayer, you would go ahead and have that leg removed.
Probably. I'm not that committed.
I had it removed just for San Diego Comic-Con.
Right. I'm the same guy that wasn't willing to commit to cosplaying as Thor until Fat Thor became a thing, and then I was like, all right, I can do that.
Right. Now I did. This is way off topic, but I have seen a badass pirate cosplay before of a man who was a Gulf War Afghan veteran. He did have a leg. I'm not going to say how. I don't know that he lost, and a part of an arm. And man, could he pull off a good pirate?
Yeah.
And he's quite proud of it, and I don't blame him.
She says, blondes are not my type, but Riley is easy on the eyes.
Wait. Is Riley's blonde?
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely felt Buffy was attracted to him like James did. I have no idea if that goes anywhere, but from the context offered throughout the podcast, I'm going to guess so. I'll withhold my judgment regarding chemistry until I see more. You guys, I watched every single episode of The Last of Us and, of course, Game of Thrones, but did not recognize Pedro Pascal playing Eddie until you mentioned it.
It was wow. He was so young,
He was so young. He was baby Pedro.
Yeah.
He was baby daddy. He was baby daddy. Thanks so much for the heads up on the adorable E.T. clip of him, too. So sweet. I didn't think it was possible to like him anymore. I was wrong. Buffy does mention, as she's putting textbooks into the basket Willow is holding, that her mom is going to have an aneurysm when she gets the bill. So I assume mom is paying at least partly. I've received scholarships and been passed up for a couple. Unfortunately, academic scholarships are not easy to come by. There's no way Buffy received a scholarship, especially based on her SAT scores alone, which we touched on during last week's episode. Unless it was financially based. Just my opinion about a fictional scenario. Well, who knows? Maybe the Watchers Council offers Slayer scholarships. I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it, considering
they actively tried to kill her on her 18th birthday.
Yeah.
Speaking of, one of my biggest pet peeves with the show in general is how dumb they portray Buffy to be. I can agree with that. I think sometimes writers have a hard time distinguishing between like Valley Girl and just straight up dumb. Right.
But see, I think if this show was done today, I don't think that would be the same Buffy we would get. Because that was something you did in the 90s. Like, oh, well, she's the hero and she's super strong, so we have to make her dumb.
Right.
We have to give her a glaring weakness. We can't, she can't be smart and strong.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Again, speaking from a lot of experience, the asshole professor scene is 100% realistic. Professors and universities get paid regardless of poor student attendance, poor student grades, etc., unlike all prior public school grade levels whose funding depends on those statistics. Some truly don't care how students feel or do. Most can't lose their jobs, short of criminal activity, and many believe they can and often do treat students like subpar human beings. To get through college successfully, you have to want to badly enough to look past and just accept whatever treatment professors dole out. and that's where prior trauma experience comes in handy. LOL. James, I'm with you again. I liked the Bronzes band this episode. My taste in music varies wildly. So does mine. I mean, Jeremy's does too. I mean, Jeremy's got a pretty eclectic taste in music. He just knows what he likes and what he doesn't like.
Yeah, I can tell within the first couple of bars and the first couple of lyrics. I'm like,
Right. But yeah, if you saw my day-to-day playlists that I listen to
me too. Yeah,
while
if you
I'm
saw
working,
the
it would
Spotify
be
playlist, you'd be like, what?
right.
How does this go together?
Right. Not necessarily within the same playlist, but I have specific playlists I listen to on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they run the gamut. Like Friday is like late 90s, early
Corn,
2000s.
like, why don't you get the fuck out of my face?
No, that's Thursday.
Oh, that's Thursday. Okay.
Friday is late 90s, early 2000s dance, electronica, Europop. Right, exactly. Thursdays is more like hard, like Corn, you know. Wednesdays
hardcore what?
Wednesdays is more emo.
But every single one of these playlists does start with Hanson's Mbop, correct?
Oh yeah, of course, 100%.
Okay. Because mine too.
Right. Tuesdays is primarily all country music. And then Mondays I listen to podcasts most of the time I'm working. But anyway, Jeremy, I
listen to guttural screaming on Mondays.
Oh, okay. Jeremy, I had to pause the podcast because I was laughing so hard at you talking about Buffy and Xander in the newspaper office or wherever they were and saying she types in solve my problem, enter, if only.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's still something
every time that happens in an episode, I bring it up.
And it's still something that happens in TV and movies till this day. I mean, it's yeah.
And there's so many more tech savvy people these days. You would think they would quit doing that shit because there's more people that know that that's horse shit. Right. You know, back in the 90s, it's like, well, they're never gonna fuck. Most people don't know what the internet even does, you know. But these days, you would think they would say, okay, we're gonna need to not do that because that looks stupid and everybody can see through it.
Right.
But they still do it.
I would have loved to have seen Buffy use the broken end of her umbrella trophy to stake Sunday. Poetic justice. Yeah, that would have been 100% better. Yeah, I can't believe the writers didn't think about it. I can't believe you and I didn't think about it when we watched the episode. So kudos to you, Darlene.
That's why we're not the appropriate host for this show.
Right. You and SW can take over maybe Catherine.
And Catherine, she's got the time, you know, y'all can.
Right.
You know, you'll get probably way more listeners than we do.
Right. All three of you are far more attractive than we are. So
and clearly know more than we do. So
right.
Why are we even here, James? Let me just go ahead and kick the outro in.
I give this episode 3.5 Xandered up comments. He was doing so well until that was said. Yeah. I loved Buffy walking in on Giles's private life, though he was a real turd to her the entire scene. Buffy's temporary humanness and then the return of her kick-ass attitude, and I think it was just generally happy to see most of the cast again. I completely related to how Buffy felt when she saw her bedroom just a day or two after she moved out. I like that we saw all the different ways her life was changing and how it was affecting her, and I'm loving Willow's new hairstyle. Something that did seem off to me, though, was that Nicholas Brendan looked so unkempt.
Here we go.
And of course, and I don't know how to describe it really, just not himself. He felt awkward in a role he'd once felt very comfortable in. I don't know. Maybe that changes, or maybe it was just me. Again, I think, and I believe Jeremy thinks as well that's a direct reflection of the extracurricular activities he was starting to get involved in. What did I want to? That's something else we didn't mention last week, but Darlene kind of mentions it here. Joyce managed to move those big ass crates into Buffy's room in an awfully short period of time.
Well, maybe she had some of her Johns do it for her.
That's true.
You know.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for your comments and your reviews and your opinions. What I had alluded to wanting to say earlier, and I saved it until after this, is I absolutely love the fact that you all have started doing your own versions of the rating system.
Yeah.
I love that.
But we are suing you all.
We are going to be suing you all.
We like it, but we
like
are
it.
going to sue.
But we are going to sue. No, I do. I genuinely love it. I get it. I just get a kick out of it. I don't know. I don't know why, but yeah, seeing you give it your ratings 1 to 5, whatever weird idea from the episode you choose to come up with, brings me a lot of joy. So, and
It takes
again,
a lot to make James happy. Let me tell you.
yeah. And again, I've mentioned this before. Jeremy's mentioned it before. I love the amount of inter-listener conversation I see happening on the Facebook pages, on the Facebook page, and it's happening on YouTube now too.
Especially on the OnlyFans account.
Especially on at nipples.
Right.
But yeah, so please keep that up. Like I just said, we love to see it. And I think it brings a more interactive element to it, to you guys too, to interact with each other.
Makes it more intimate.
Right. And I love being intimate with you guys. No,
let's all get into our pajamas.
Now. Yeah, so thank you everyone for your comments and your thoughts and your opinions and your ratings. Keep it up. Like I said, we love it. Thank you. Jeremy, anything?
One quick thing. This is for my sister. She mentioned in her comment that she didn't know it was possible to like Pedro anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
check him out on Hot Ones, which is on YouTube. It's an interview show where they eat progressively hotter wings. And he was on there. I don't even think it's been a year yet, maybe 6 to 9 months ago. And it is very, very enjoyable. So check that out on YouTube.
It is.
And that's all I had to say about that.
Right. So with that out of the way, I also, real quick, I love the fact that we get so many comments and so in-depth comments and everything about the shows that it literally takes up like 50 minutes of
51 minutes
of the next episode. That's not sarcasm. I do truly enjoy that.
For me, it's sarcasm because I hate. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Wait, are you going to start dates and deets?
I was, but please.
Okay, before you do, I got 2 things that I want to bring up to the audience.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to know how this is for everyone who listens, but especially those who are interacting with us on Facebook and YouTube and what have you on Nipples. I want to know how you either listen. Do you listen to the podcast through a podcast app, or do you watch the podcast on YouTube, or both? I'd like to know that. So maybe in your next week's comments, throw that in. I really want to know. Also, I should bring up Google Podcasts continues to suck ass. Yes. James informed me that the Angel episode, has it dropped yet, James?
It did drop, but it took like 2 days.
Okay. So
I imagine it took 2 days for Buffy to drop as well.
Okay. So we continue to have the issues with Google Podcasts that we were having last season. It's completely out of our control.
Right.
Just remember, it's Mondays for Buffy. It's Wednesday for Angels. Wednesdays for Angel. Boy. And if you do use Google or any of the apps you use, if they don't drop, you can always go to the YouTube channel. And as long as James hasn't fucked up that day, the episodes will be there on YouTube to see.
That is a fair assessment.
No lies detected. No. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is with Google Podcasts. I don't know who uses Google Podcasts or why you would use Google Podcasts.
Because I like it, except for the fact that it takes 2 days for my own podcast.
Oh, you actually? Oh, my bad. You
Yeah.
use Google Podcasts?
Well, not this week. I didn't,
Well,
but yeah, I do.
But
Yeah.
you're a Spotify guy, right?
No.
Oh, you're not a Spotify guy.
Nope. I'm a YouTube music guy, so I use Google Podcasts.
So you're enormously stupid. Okay.
Oh my God.
No. Anyway, my point is, the episodes are supposed to drop on Mondays and Wednesdays, and on all the other apps that I know of, they do correctly. But for whatever reason, Google is stupid. So, yeah, just go to the YouTube page if need be, or if you want to wait 2 days.
Right.
You know, I guess Google will eventually decide they're going to drop it. I have checked everything in our settings for Google. I've checked the RSS feed. I've checked when it's supposed to refresh and scan, and everything's perfect. It's just, again, Google Podcasts apparently sucks, which explains why James uses it.
Wow. I think part of the problem is they're actively trying to integrate Google Podcasts into YouTube Music. So that could be part of the problem.
Well, that seems...
Yeah, Google
on off and the other one on.
you would think so, yeah. But yeah, they're starting to integrate podcasts into YouTube Music. But
I was going to say, because we used to not have any issues with anybody, with any of the apps.
No.
But again, just if it doesn't drop, I promise you it did.
Yeah.
Just go and check the YouTube page, and also please do answer my question on how do you consume our podcast? Is it listening to the podcast? Is it watching us on YouTube, or both? And also, does it bring you pleasure
in a sexual manner?
In a sexual manner. No.
Right.
All right.
Did we make you horny, baby?
Did we make you horny, baby?
Anyway.
Pretty nasty, ain't it?
Yeah, baby. Daddy. With all of that being said, how about if we dive into some yummy, scrum-diddly-umptious dates and deets for Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 4, Episode 2, the 58th episode of the series overall, Living Conditions.
I'd prefer not to.
Our episode director this week is David Grossman. Our episode credited writer is Marty Noxon. Our original air date was October 12th, 1999 on the now defunct WB network. Our Nielsen ratings for this week were 3.8 million households when it first aired, ranking it 88th out of the 135 network primetime shows airing that week, and 5th out of the 15 primetime shows airing on the WB that week. Our regular cast, as always, this season includes Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy, Nicholas Brendan as Xander, Allison Hannigan as Willow, Seth Green as Oz, and Anthony Stewart Head as Giles. Our guest stars this week include Dagny Kerr as Kathy and Adam Kaufman as Parker Abrams. Kathy? Parker?
Parker. You can't say that straight. Like, it just doesn't. Parker just doesn't work.
Our episode synopsis this week reads: the gang unites to encourage Buffy's oppressive roommate to move out, and Buffy finds herself attracted to a handsome upperclassman.
Oh my. Sorry. Mine reads: Buffy finds herself at odds with her new roommate and is troubled by a series of disturbing dreams involving a soul-sucking demon.
Okay, that's definitely better than the one I have.
It almost always is.
That's true.
Where do you pull yours from again? I forget.
No lies detected.
Google.
Google? Okay. Well, they suck at everything, don't they?
They do. But I've sworn my allegiance to our future robot overlords.
But I do love YouTube. I'm not gonna take that from them. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been a YouTube Premium subscriber for like since they started offering it.
Right. That's why I have YouTube Music, because Google Music back in the day was offered free if you had a YouTube Premium. Well, back then it was YouTube Red, if you remember that subscription. So I actually I keep getting grandfathered in when Google Music became YouTube Music. I still don't pay anything for it because I have YouTube Premium.
That's why you don't have Spotify.
So yeah, I'm a YouTube Music guy. Also, like I said, I've sworn my allegiance to our future artificial intelligent overlords.
I don't think it'll be Google.
Well, no, they'll change their name to Skynet by that time.
Well, I don't think that Google is the company we have to worry about. I think it's probably more along the lines of Amazon.
Maybe. Yes, we'll see. Either way.
See, when you die to the robots, I'll say, it was Amazon robots, wasn't it?
Fun little behind the scenes tidbit here. Well, I don't know how fun it is, but I thought it was interesting. Even though Adam Kaufman's character is identified in the episode as Parker Abrams, the original official synopsis for the episode identified him as Parker Finch. Yeah, so that was an odd little screw up there.
That was so fun
at some point. Something we should have mentioned before we started this is we are officially doing away with Monsterology.
Oh, okay.
It's just
that brings up something. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
We've just gotten to a point where Whedon and the writers are relying on their own created lore and whatnot for the show. That it's kind of a pointless category 4 seasons in. I think the first 2 seasons did kind of rely heavily on, kind of doing their own spin on classic horror tropes and whatnot, and they've just moved past that at this point. So
yeah, go ahead.
What were you gonna? What?
No, nothing. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you had something you wanted to say.
No, I was just going to say that, I think starting with this episode, I think starting with this episode, we'll do it a little differently. Instead of going,
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm going to explain it.
Oh, okay.
Instead of going exactly scene by scene by scene, and what's the word? Overindulging in it. Since everyone is listening has watched the episode and knows what's happened, I think we'll just be a little more saucy.
Sure. Also, goof 'em ups and oopsies is kind of being, and this actually already kind of happened. It's being rolled into more of our episode review and discussion.
We bring it up then.
Yeah, we'll bring it up as we're talking about it, as opposed to leaving it for its own separate, thing. That being said, we open in Buffy's dorm room at Stevenson Hall on the UC Sunnydale campus, and we see that her roommate, whom we were introduced to last week, Kathy, is ironing a pair of jeans, and Cher's Believe is blaring in the background.
Do you believe, James?
Do you believe in life after love?
No, I don't.
No. Anyway, I actually had to look because I was like, is this something that they changed for like the Hulu streaming or something? Because I didn't realize that Believe had come out in '99.
Yeah, it's that old, just like Cher.
But anyway, Buffy is trying to get out of the dorm room to go on patrol, and she feeds Kathy a story that she's heading down to the grotto to get some coffee. And before she leaves, Kathy tells her that she's come up with a system to keep track of calls so that they can be properly billed. And she also mentions that she noticed that some of her milk was missing from the refrigerator. Buffy apologizes, says she took some of the milk for her coffee, and at one point during the conversation, the song ends and Kathy kind of abruptly goes over and starts it playing again. And Buffy ends up leaving, and we see that she's met up with Willow, and they kind of talk about how Buffy's having issues adjusting to having the roommate, and getting out to patrol without Kathy asking a bajillion questions. And they get to a point in their walk where Willow goes her separate way to meet up with Oz, and Buffy keeps patrolling, not realizing that she's being watched by a kind of Freddy Krueger looking like demon with glowing green eyes. And that's our cold open.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the Kathy being butthurt about the use of her milk.
Uh-huh.
And I still say, I mentioned this to you before we began recording, but I still say no one's going to know how would you know that much milk had been used to cream your coffee? You're talking what, 2 tablespoons?
Well, like I said, I guess it would depend on how much cream Buffy likes in her coffee.
I have it on good authority that Buffy likes her coffee like she likes her men.
Extra white?
Dark and handsome.
Dead?
Dead. Yep, just dead. I love a good cup of dead coffee. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, come on. Like if she had said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had a bowl of cereal or whatever," I could buy it. But I used 2 splashes for my coffee, and somehow that much is gone. Come on, come on.
Also, in the original script, the song that Kathy keeps listening to over and over again is "Butterfly" by Mariah Carey.
What is that? I don't know that song.
I'm not singing it.
Well, can you just say it?
No, I don't. I literally don't know.
Oh, so you don't know it either?
No, I'm sure I've heard it, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay.
But yeah.
You said Butterfly. I thought you were going to say that 311 song. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby.
That was Sugar Ray, not 311.
Yeah, that was definitely 311 and not Sugar Ray.
No, it was Sugar Ray.
No, that was 311.
Are you sure?
Do you want to make a bet on it?
I don't want to make a bet out of it, but
I'm going to allow you to look it up, and so you can publicly state that I was in fact correct. And
well, go ahead and keep going. I did the cold open. Go ahead and keep going.
So anyway, we go back to Buffers, and she's still patrolling. And at this point, Kathy jumps out and scares her. She's thinking it's a fucking demon to kill. It's just that bitch Kathy.
We're both wrong. It's Crazy Town.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck you. We're old. So yeah, it's Kathy, and she's just all happy. Yeah. Well, I decided to join you after all. And Buffy's like, I don't remember inviting you to start with, but okay. And at which point, Buffy gets attacked by the orange-skinned, glowing, blue-eyed demon that had been peeping her creepily from the weeds before.
Now, see, I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
No, you're not.
You have blue-eyed demon. I saw blue-eyed demon.
Mm-hmm.
But in the episode, Buffy says green-eyed demon.
Oh, I never.
So that's why I.
What do you want to bet that's what it was supposed to be, and in the post effects, they just went blue.
That would be my guess. Yeah.
Because the blue is probably going to show better than green.
Right.
So yeah, it's she starts karate fight. She quickly knocks Kathy the fuck out. Well, I mean, doesn't knock her out, but like shoves her through some bushes, and she goes kind of down a hill. I mean, I'm not talking like a mountainside, but she goes kind of down a hill,
and Kathy's dead. That's the end of
Kathy. Kathy has passed away, thankfully. No, that's so she doesn't see anything while Buffy's having fisticuffs with this demon. And at one point, the demon just kind of just fucks off and gets out of there, realizing he's like met his match. And that's right as Kathy's climbing out of all the bushes and whatnot, and she's complaining about her sweater that it got ruined when Buffy, shoved her down there, and she's like, "Yeah, I was a mugger," and yada yada. Someone tried to take my backpack, and as they leave, the two demons are still watching them from a distance, and one of them says she may be the one, and I'm like, you think? She just fucking whipped your ass,
right? She mollywomped you.
Yeah, she mollywomped you. Never heard that.
Well, now you have.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
The next morning, Buffy goes to Giles' flat to describe the previous night's monster. Giles, however, is in the living room fully naked and masturbating when she comes in. And
just going to town on himself.
I'm talking hammer time.
Right.
And she's so disgusted, she immediately projectile vomits.
Right.
And that just turns him on even more.
Right.
And he stands up.
What you neglected to mention is when she first busts in and he's just like cranking it out, he's yelling, "Deliver Marianas! Deliver Marianas!"
Oh, how are we not canceled yet?
I don't know.
Honestly.
The people love us, Jeremy. You saw the comments.
Maybe there are other weird people in the world. It's not just us.
Not just you and I.
Yeah. So, during their conversation, Giles kind of notices that she's way too into like what he's doing that day and shit. And come to find out, she wants to stay there and not go back to her dorm because she fucking hates Kathy. Right. Meanwhile, Kathy's in the dorm trying to scrub the little grass stain off her sweater like it's some big fucking thing. The sweater wasn't even that nice. Mm-hmm. I mean, frankly, come on, bitch. But so you
needed a new one anyway,
right? It was ugh. She happens to see Buffy's closet. Kind of looks at it and it gives her an idea. So she goes over there and just starts going through her roommate's closet, which I found incredibly creepy.
That is way worse than stealing a little bit of milk for your coffee.
Right? I mean, come on, it's fucking milk, and this is now you're literally just going through her shit. And of course she notices Buffy's weapon bag, and she pulls out a crossbow and a cross, and she kind of looks shocked, but she just shrugs and puts the shit back, and at which point she accidentally stabs herself with the crossbow bolt. Mm-hmm. So again, Kathy has died.
She bleeds out right there in the closet.
Bleeds out. Can't get out the door to get help or anything.
Since we're here in the dorm room, let's take a moment to talk about the dorm room, like we've both previously wanted to. You go ahead and say your piece, and I'll chime in.
I don't have anything to say. I have questions.
Okay.
Question number one.
Look how tan I am.
Oh, I thought you were going to show us the gun show.
No, look how tan I am.
How many tickets do you have for the gun show?
2.
Oh shit, where was I? Oh yeah. So
it's that way.
it's right over there. So my first question is do they have a bathroom in their dorm?
They do not.
Okay. Because okay, that's fine. Good. Question number 2, were there I think I know the answer to this, but there are closets on each side, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Whoa, excuse me. Well, that's a good sound effect. Listen,
we're on the fucking Gong Show.
No, that sounds like some kind of demons getting ready to come out of the mixer. Like, I am your overlord.
It reminds me
getting picked up on the actual audio. I don't know.
I can hear it.
Okay.
It reminded me of the Gong Show. Like we're getting gong.
Right. You got suck. So they do not have a bathroom. You said
they don't have a bathroom.
Okay, because I was gonna say like that is over the top ridiculous. The dorm room's already over the top and kind of ridiculous because dorm rooms that I've ever seen are tiny little fuckers where you can barely fit like a bunk bed and like a desk in.
And that's what made me think about it again this episode is because that Buffy's closet is it's a decent sized closet for a fucking dorm room.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, anyway. You go ahead now and say your piece about the dorm room rather than that it's ridiculous.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like it's overabundant in size to what an actual dorm room would be.
Oh, and here's another question that just popped in my head. Have you?
Yes, Jeremy, 5 inches is perfectly fine.
Okay. Whew. Hang on, I can mark that off. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Let's see. James said that is fine. Okay. What have you ever lived in a dorm?
I haven't, no.
Okay. Do you find it, and I'm sure this is normal, but I found it kind of icky that like the mattresses and the box springs are provided. Like they're already there.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you find that like, ooh?
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was just me. I'm very germophobic, so
Mm-hmm.
that creeped me out a little bit. And and we saw it in last episode when they came and took
Right.
all the stuff, and
Right.
I was like, oh God, come to think of it, like how many people have slept and like sweated and like jizzed and farted and like everything on those and then you got to
aggressively shit themselves.
aggressively, like they knew it was coming and they just sat there and were like, yeah, and yeah, and they just fucking yeah, aggressively ripped some shit out on that mattress. But but I mean, I don't know, I just found that icky as hell.
Yeah.
Anyway. Where'd I leave off? Okay, yes. Now we're at the Rocket Cafe, which I don't know what that means.
Me either. I found it odd that the campus
like
cafeteria had like a special name.
And what does it have to do? Like, if it was like I don't know, like a rocket science school or something,
right?
I could get it, like the Rocket Cafe. Okay,
right.
Buffy's in line. Well, she goes to get in line and she spots Kathy back a little ways, and she's like, "Fuck!" and she's trying to avoid her. So she just turns, yeah, whore. So she just quickly turns and just like dives into line, just right in front of somebody. And I was thinking, a bitch.
It's a good thing she's hot. Otherwise, Parker probably would have smacked her right across the face with his food tray.
Right, and knocked her.
That's what I would have done.
Fucking teeth out. Right.
That's what I would have done to an Uggo.
Teach them. We're canceled again. That's like 3 times in one episode, man. So she's ducking and looking, and
she's bobbing and weaving.
She's bobbing and weaving. He's swinging, and she's like, "Bitch, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. I float like a butterfly." And she's, okay. Anyway, he's like, "Who are you trying to avoid? Is it an ex or what does he say? An ex or
loan shark?"
Loan shark, yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, you're really funny, dork. Get out of here." And he just runs away like crying. No. Right. His name's Parker Abrams, and he strikes up a conversation. And he's like, "Hey, I'll show you how to maximize the use of your dining hall card," which, again, didn't go to college. Don't know what the fuck that even means. I guess it's just a credit card. Maybe you get X amount of dollars per day or per week. I don't know. So he's like, "I'll show you how to maximize it." And in other words, he's like, "I'll show you how to steal." Literally, because he's literally stuffing shit into his pockets, into his backpack. And I'm like, that's not maximizing the usage, that you're just stealing extra shit.
You are stealing food is what you're doing.
You're literally stealing extra food. Like that's anyway. So she's like, okay. And she also notices that his hair is on fire. and she doesn't even offer to put it out.
No, she doesn't.
No, not at all. Never mind. That went nowhere.
Sorry.
Anyway, so they get done talking, and Buffy looks like she's intrigued.
Yeah,
she's intrigued by Parker Lewis, who can't lose.
There was more chemistry there than in her first meeting with Riley.
Yes, I agree 1,000%. Basically, the same length. Amount of time face to face, way more chemistry, I felt.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised they didn't start fucking right there. That's how much chemistry they had.
But again, I think that ties back into like what I said last week about how like the initial Buffy Riley meeting was I think it was deliberately one-sided. Like we were definitely supposed to leave that meeting with the idea like, all right, Buffy's attracted to this dude, and this dude just could care less.
See, I'm dumb. I know this. No one has to remind me. I just didn't get that.
I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm saying that's what I took away.
No,
from
I'm dumb of picking up. I'm dumb about picking up on things like that, and I'm looking at it more through the lens of these two actors. How is their chemistry together on the screen?
Right.
And
right.
I just feel like, and I think it's proven in this season and a little bit of next that it's zero. That's how much chemistry they have together. The answer is 0.0. But anyway,
to the third power.
To the third power. She spots Willow and Oz and Xander sitting at a table there in the Rocket Cafe, and so she goes over to join him, and she's like, "Yo, yo, 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 yo!
What's up, bitches?"
And then fucking Oz flips open a cell phone, a flip phone, dials her. She answers it, and he's like, "What's that?" Right. And she's like, "Whoa." So, yeah,
right. That was so 90s.
Yeah. I think it was around that era, wasn't it? Somewhere right around there.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not?
It all blends together after your 35th year.
Yeah, it kind of does. I'm almost about to have my 45th year, so it's all running together.
Right. I'm about to have my 43rd, 44th. One of those. I forgot how old I am.
Okay. And that's acceptable once you're in your 40s.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because last year, somebody asked me how old I was, and I could not remember if I was 42 or 43.
Yeah, I'm either going to be 43 or 44. I don't. It's one of those two.
I was like, listen, I'm in my fourth decade. Let's just put it there, you know.
It's been too long. I'm ready for it to be over.
Wow. Frankly, it's been too long, if I'm being honest.
If I'm being perfectly frank about it.
I never expected myself to reach 4 decades.
Right.
I thought
and a
half and check out.
I was just gonna say I thought 2.5 max, and I'm done.
And scene.
Right. And here we are. I've doubled it.
Yeah.
And
what do I have to show for it? Pictures on the beach.
Yeah.
That's it.
An eye patch.
Sadness. Little bit of depression.
Probably an illegitimate love child somewhere.
Probably. Yep. And a case of the clap. That's it. That's all I've got to show for it. We tell too much about ourselves on this show.
And an unhealthy obsession with David Boreanaz.
You mean David Boreanaz? So she sits down and she's basically like, "Why are you here, Xander? You don't go to school. Are your parents not feeding you?" And he's like, "Yeah, they do, for money." And then he starts taking his clothes off because that's what he's used to doing for money. So they're
and bagel bites.
Bagel bites. Those are really good, by the way. The pizza bagel bites, they're fire.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty good.
But let them sit at least 3 hours after you get done. Otherwise,
you're gonna melt your mouth off.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
They're discussing the Parker deal and the encounter from the night before, and all of a sudden, who walks up and just sits down? Her
fucking Kathy.
Fucking Kathy.
Fucking Kathy.
This fucking bitch.
This fucking broad.
She just sits down.
She just strolls up to the fucking table. Me and my people, we're just sitting there. We're trying to enjoy a lunch, and this bitch just strolls right up to the fucking table and sits down. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Hey, Goomba, what the fuck you doing, eh?
I'm like, get the fuck out of here. What are you sitting down?
Jesus.
Anyway.
And on top of it, she's wearing Buffy's fucking sweater.
She is wearing Buffy's sweater. And I thought, oh God, Buffy, you wear that thing? Because it was very... What's the word?
So obviously I'm not a female.
What?
I don't know.
All this time, James.
I'm not sure if that's obvious
I thought I was
That's
getting somewhere. I thought someday doing all this, I was going to get laid.
Well, you might. I didn't say that was out of the question.
Yeah, baby. Wait, what?
But so I'm genuinely curious to hear from our female viewers and listeners that choose to comment. What do you think of this sweater, or even the sweater that was ruined?
Yeah, the
Kathy's
sweater that Kathy supposed, because that was just like a zip up hoodie.
Right, it was just like a yeah. So I'm curious to hear what your opinion of these two pieces of clothing are, because in my opinion they aren't anything like Buffy wears much better clothing on a regular basis.
Yeah, these two articles of clothing are bullshit.
Yes.
Pure bullshit. But maybe we're wrong because we're guys and we don't know shit about clothing.
Right. But regardless, Buffy apparently loves this sweater.
And it's apparently one of her favorites. And so she immediately stabs Kathy in the eye with a fucking butter knife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kathy has passed away
again.
Yep. And then Kathy picks up this hella big hamburger. Right. That I'm like, really? They're serving a burger like that at a college fucking cafeteria?
Right. And Parker's and
fucking prepped, you know.
And Parker's worried about maximizing his food cart, and they're serving burgers that size.
They're serving half-pound fucking patty burgers over here with, like, it had everything. It had lettuce, tomato, onion, and she bites into it, and in slow motion, you see this big glob of ketchup come, and it lands on Buffy's sweater, and Buffy, at that moment, Buffy has decided to kill her. I believe. I truly believe
that is when the decision was made.
She's like, well, there's only one response to this situation, and that is murder.
Right.
I don't blame her.
No, not at all.
Other than the fact that the sweater is garbage.
Right. You know. Exactly. And she likes it, and we cut to that evening, and Buffy and Willow on the phone, and Buffy's complaining about Kathy to Willow, and Willow is in her own dorm room where a bomb-ass rager is happening.
And I'm like, wait a minute. We saw the dorms. They're larger than they should be, but really?
Right. So and then Kathy comes back from the bathroom, and so Buffy's like, oh, she's coming back, I gotta go. And she hangs up, and Kathy reminds her to log her phone call, and then proceeds to floss her teeth, which to me is a bathroom activity. Why are you doing that in sitting in bed?
Yeah, how do you do that without? I cannot do that unless I look in the mirror.
Sure.
Okay, how do you do that without look? I don't know.
Yeah. So Buffy goes to put an apple into the fridge, and when she opens it, she sees that everything has been labeled with Kathy's name, and literally everything: yogurt, milk, eggs, everything.
Yeah, she took a black marker and wrote her name on each egg, which we will come to discover that these eggs are already hard boiled.
Yes.
Like, they're not like, fresh eggs to crack or whatever. Because I was like, wait, what is she going to do with,
Right.
Because I didn't see a hot plate anywhere, but they are pre-boiled eggs. So another thing that makes her a shitty roommate is eating all those boiled eggs. She's got horrible gas that smells like Bigfoot's dick.
It also begs the question, how did she hard boil those eggs in her dorm room?
Well, she's probably cooking meth somewhere off campus.
Okay.
And so she's using that technology and a Bunsen burner and boiling her eggs to have raunchy death farts whilst sharing a room with a poor, unsuspecting new roommate.
Okay. While Buffy is looking in the fridge, Kathy gets up and shuts the window on Buffy's side of the room. Buffy shoves her apple into the fridge and goes back to her bed and proceeds to immediately open the window again. And Kathy goes to grab her book off the nightstand and finds that it's stuck to the table with a wad of chewing gum. And Buffy is currently in that moment chewing gum and proceeds to swallow it while simultaneously denying that she knows anything about how the gum got there. And they both go to bed angry, which you should never do in a relationship.
See, I always thought you should always go to bed angry.
Because it makes the sex hotter.
Right. There was nothing as good as makeup sex.
Or hate sex.
Or hate sex. Or murder sex.
What?
Like what?
Huh?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
Good.
Buffy proceeds to have a dream of the orange blue-eyed demon pouring blood down her throat and shoving scorpions into her belly button or some shit. I'm not sure.
Thought it was her vagina. No, I'm not saying. Like, I was like, what is happening right now? Where are these scorpions being shoved? That's. I mean,
and sucking a glowing essence out of her mouth.
Out of her vajayjay. Let's be honest. That's where the writers wanted to go. You know they did.
And she wakes up the next morning, startled by her dream, only to find roommate Kathy glaring at her from her bed and asking if she always makes that noise while she's sleeping.
I'd be like, what? Cussing and screaming your name in hieroglyphics?
Right. I would be like,
hieroglyphics. I'm sorry.
I would be like, what noise? Daddy? That noise?
That noise?
That
or
noise?
the one where I was saying your name chanting in a murder pact. That one?
Yeah, which one? You're going to have to like narrow it down for me, Kathy. Yeah. And then we cut to the school, and what's happening there, Jeremy?
It's on fire.
It's on fire.
There's a lot of fires in the Buffy universe. And,
there are.
I don't know why. No, Buffy's with Willow and Oz and Giles, and I'm like, okay, this is not weird.
Right, but this is also clearly like a redressed Sunnydale High set.
Oh
like,
yeah.
This is that lounge area.
I noticed. I thought the same thing, and I forgot to mention it when they were in line for the Rocket Cafe.
Mm.
Like when they were in where the line came out and went into that little hallway. I was like, this is so Sunnydale High.
Right.
This is just a very slight redressing of a hallway scene.
Right.
Kathy again joins the group, and this time, because she hears Giles talking about dreams and analyzing dreams, and she's like, "Oh, you can analyze dreams," and Giles is like, "No, you stupid hooer. Who are you, and why are you even here?"
Right.
No, Buffy this time is very.
Well, Buffy gets a little excited because when Giles calls her a whore,
yeah,
she's like, "Are we cousins?" You know, because Joyce's last name is Whoer.
Is Whoer, yeah.
Right. Her maiden name is.
Yeah,
Whoer.
her maiden name was Whoer. So Whuore.
Right. That's exactly how I spell it.
Whoer. She's Buffy's being a lot more outright snippy this time, and I'm digging it. And they both start going back and forth at each other. And at some point, Buffy's like, "Shouldn't you be getting to class?" And Kathy's like, "Yeah, bitch, because I got shit to learn. Deuces." And she leaves, and Buffy's like, "Fucking slut." And
this is just in case there was any doubt here. I'm going to cover this up so you can't see.
Is that a dick pic?
It's not a dick. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh no, you can't. Oh wait, hold on. Hold on. I don't know if you'll be. I do spell it that way. Look.
Whuore or Whuore. Yep.
What a whore.
What a.
So just so everyone knows, this isn't something I just say in the context of the podcast. I use it all the time.
I'm sure they're glad to hear that. Yeah, Buffy's like, Kathy's like, yeah, I gotta get back to class because, someone's been keeping me up all night. And Buffy's like, I'll put you to sleep permanently. And Kathy then leaves, and Buffy complains to the group, and she's like, am I the only one that fucking hates this bitch? And I'd be with her at this point if I was her friend, and these two, I'd be like, oh yeah, she's a fucking monster. You've got to get away from this bitch. But her friends are just kind of like, well, it's not that bad. And I'm like, Xander, you just want to fuck her because you want to fuck everything. I'm sorry, Xander's not even there, but he was the first time they met her. So after Buffy leaves, Giles is saying, it must be these dreams and this stuff that's fucking with Buffy and stressing her out, and so everything's cool. She's just stressed.
I do feel like at this point in the episode, like my impression was like Buffy's kind of overreacting to the whole situation. Like she's kind of like they need to. The two of them need to learn how to, live simpatico, with one another. Because having roommates is rough. Sometimes. Sometimes. I mean, you've had it good. Like you.
Yeah, I don't have any issues.
But I've lived with someone one time, and it wasn't always roses and.
Well, I lived with someone else years ago of the female persuasion, and that didn't end well. There were some issues in that roommate situation that wasn't really a roommate situation, but yeah. Let's see, where was I? That night, the two demons meet up again, and they're like, "Yep, she's the one," and they're starting to do this chanting shit at this big fire, and they're preparing to summon the great Taperick. I guess is how you say it, because I don't think they ever pronounced it in the episode.
No, because we maybe should have mentioned these demons are speaking some sort of demon
they're
language
in goofball.
Because everything they say is subtitled, so I have no idea how to pronounce this
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, R.I.P. Paul Rubens. R.I.P.
Dicks out for Paul.
Pouring one out for you, my brother. Yeah, so we cut to Buffy walking into her dorm, and what does she find there but Parker, Lewis, who can't lose, and Kathy. And Kathy's all giggly and, oh, Parker, you're just the best. And so Buffy wants to immediately throw up. And of course, Cher's Believe is blaring again on the old CD player. And Parker's came to give Buffy some Ziploc bags that he had told her about how to slip things into, how to steal, when he was teaching her how to steal from the cafeteria.
Right. How to maximize.
Right. So he's bringing her some of those, and
for macaronis and things.
Right. Because no one would notice you scooping macaroni
into a fucking Ziploc bag,
into a satchel to then put inside of your fucking. Where do you put that then? Into your pocket? A pocket of macaroni?
It's not a purse. It's a satchel.
So, then Kathy horns in the conversation again. Buffy gets fucking annoyed, and she's like, how does she say that? If you're going to do that, take it outside or something like that.
If you two are going to wrestle, can you please take it outside? I've got things to do.
And then she realizes she snapped, and she runs to Parker, and she's like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, fuck you, it's over, bitch.
And again, in Buffy's defense, like, it seemed pretty obvious to me that Parker was trying to hit.
He was trying to hit Kathy.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So I'd be like, fuck you, get out of my room.
Right.
If you're not here to hit this, then get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out. Right.
Get the fuck out. So they make up, and she's like, another time. And he's like, okay, no problem, another time. And then she gives Kathy the stank eye. And Buffy puts a lock on her closet. while Kathy is like flossing very loudly. And so Buffy opens the window and Kathy boohoos and I'm cold and says, well, you'll just have to deal with it. And then they argue. They start arguing. And Kathy calls Buffy spoiled and says it's share time. And Buffy's like, oh, you want to share? And so she gets up and goes to the fridge. And really quick. Oh, let me finish this scene. She goes to the fridge, takes out Kathy's fucking milk, and just gulps. I mean, she is just drinking every bit of it, and it's pouring down her chin onto her. She's just going to drink every fucking drop of this milk.
She is guzzling it. Like,
yes.
Well, never mind.
Like what?
Nothing.
Now, let me ask you a question. Why is this mini fridge on Buffy's side of the dorm?
Was it?
It's like right next to the Buffy's closet door.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is. Don't argue with me. It is there, in fact. Shouldn't there be two?
Hold on. I'm trying to recreate the dorm room in my mind right now. Yeah, I guess you're right, because it's on. So you've got the main door, and then it's on. If you're facing the door from inside the dorm room, it's on this wall over here, right?
Yeah, right next to her closet door.
So yeah, that would be on Buffy's side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why wouldn't the fucking thing be next to Kathy's closet door? Or why wouldn't there be two, like one on Buffy's side and one on the other side? And why is Kathy taking up literally every bit of room inside that refrigerator?
That would be my bigger issue, is like, why have you occupied every bit of space in this tiny refrigerator that we both have to share?
Yeah, because there's no room. Buffy couldn't put anything in there.
She had a hard time putting that fucking apple in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would be very upset by this, James.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I don't blame you.
Okay. So we cut. Willow and Oz are walking back to Willow's dorm, and they're discussing the whole deal with Buffy, because she's getting more and more kind of
agitated by Kathy,
just out of character for Buffy.
Right.
They're discussing that, and Oz offers to go because Willow's like, I would go and be with her and be doing the best friend thing, but I got to study, or no, I got to write this English paper. That's what it was.
Right.
And Oz is like, well, I don't do homework or anything here at the school, so I'll go hang out with her. Plus, I wouldn't mind hitting it. And Willow's like, me too. So no.
Willow's like, well, if you get in, then maybe we can both get in, and
maybe we can get in.
Right.
You know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being the meat in that sandwich.
Right. Let me tell you about. I'm just saying.
An Oz and Willow sandwich.
Oh,
wait, what?
Oh,
what?
you like the gingers,
what?
huh?
Hey, what? No.
I see. Okay. So Oz offers to go hang out with, keep an eye on her and talk to her while Willow's doing her thing. And when he walks out of the dorm to head over to what's apparently Buffy's dorm,
I just want to mention real quick, there's another rager happening in Willow's dorm.
Yeah, so she's like, oh, okay, I'll be going to the library.
Right.
And she leaves, and Oz just looks like, that's weird. And I'm like, you're the boyfriend. Why don't you go in there and be a man and be like, yo, this is my hoe's crib. The fuck out of here. But he doesn't.
He doesn't. But we still love him.
We still love him. We do love him.
And the scene with him and Buffy is exactly why we love him.
Oh yeah. So as he's leaving the dorm to go to her dorm, walks outside, he passes this group, and he as they walk by each other, he turns and looks, and this chick that's with the group turns and they lock eyes, and they're both just looking at each other, really just like, what the fuck? What's that? Like they're both just kind of drawn to each other. And that's it. He just continues walking. At which point Oz does find Buffy, and she's going on about this argument that about that argument she just had with Kathy, and totally destroys a bench in the process of discussing this whole thing and about what she wanted to do to Kathy. And he's like, "But you didn't do that," and she's like, "No, but I really wanted to." And oh God, you have to take this next bit because it makes me sick to even say the word.
So I do want to say one thing about this Buffy Oz scene. I do think this is something that this season starts to do more, and it's one of the things I do enjoy is character pairings that we haven't necessarily gotten.
Yeah, like on their own. Yeah.
On their own together.
Yeah.
That is one thing that this season does start to do and play with a little bit that I do think the season benefits from, because it's always fun to see characters that don't always have just one-on-one time interacting with each other.
Like next episode when Giles and Oz go to the drive-in together.
Yes.
And they make out in the car.
Right.
It's really weird because Giles is so tall and Oz is kind of so short. The people around think he's molesting a child.
Right.
No, it's
yeah.
But like
sure.
that.
Right. So we cut back to the dorm and Kathy's cutting her toenails.
Oh God.
And she's just letting the toenail chunks fly. Just all over the place.
That's the point where that's the point I'm moving out. And I'm burning that motherfucker to the ground. So
just the toenails are probably landing in Buffy's bed.
And they're in the carpet where you won't be able to find them, and you will motherfucking spear your foot on one. Because those bitches will burrow into your fucking feet, man. Oh.
And Buffy is at her desk studying, and she's, of course, is becoming increasingly agitated and annoyed by Kathy, and she starts tapping her pencil loudly on her notebook, and Kathy drowns Buffy's noise out by turning the CD player on again, and what?
I'm sitting here going through the scene in my head as you're telling it, and I'm thinking like the next scene we cut, and this time Kathy's completely naked and just banging herself with a dildo and being real loud about it. Does this annoy you? Ah!
Oh my God!
We're canceled again.
It's your fault this time. It wasn't me.
And Buffy, we cut to Buffy, and she's just horrified and can't even respond, and she just runs out of the room screaming.
So Kathy drowns her out, or Buffy's tapping out by turning the CD player on again. And what's playing when she turns it on, Jeremy?
Do you believe in life after love, after love, after love, after love?
Yes. I should have had you. I should have had you pull the chair.
We should have pulled a clip of just a song and kept it playing in the background the entire time we did this episode.
Buffy eventually taps her pencil so hard it breaks, and she puts headphones on to drown out the noise. And then Kathy does something else, but I don't remember what it was. Do you?
I just described it a little bit ago.
Oh my God.
No, I don't
remember. But she does something else because Buffy ends up taking the headphones off, and she's like, "I'm going to bed," and she goes to bed. And
Oh, yes, I do remember. That's when she grabs an egg out of the refrigerator.
Oh, that's
and
right.
She starts rolling it across the desk, to break the shell up. And Buffy's like, "That's it. You have to be killed."
Right. So Buffy goes to bed, and she once again that night has the same dream she previously had. And when she wakes and Daddy, and when she wakes up, she looks over and Kathy is tossing and turning and waking up from the same dream.
Stop you're going to say Kathy was tossing some salad.
Kathy was tossing Parker's salad.
Oh, wow. Buffy would have went fucking ape shit. Like, you fucking whore. Okay. Let me calm down.
So, she looks over and Kathy is tossing and turning and waking up from once
Stop
again
saying that.
having the same dream that Buffy had. Would you like me to keep going, or have you composed yourself?
No, that's fine. A little later, Kathy is in the dorm hallway. She's got Willow, and she's complaining about Buffy to Willow. And Buffy sees them. So she immediately adds Willow to the fucking kill list. She's like, "Oh, you traitorous whore." No.
You ginger bitch.
Yeah, you ginger, two-faced hooker. And no, so when Willow goes off, Willow's trying to keep the peace, and she's like, maybe Buffy's just a bitch. I mean, get used to it. So when Kathy fucks off, Buffy comes up and she's like, Kathy's evil. I'm an evil fighter. It's simple. I'm gonna have to kill her. Buffy's like, or Willow's like, probably. I think that's the only way we're gonna get in a resolution of this situation. But she holds up a Ziploc bag that she has filled with Kathy's fucking toenail clippings. I've never been more unattracted to anyone in my life than at this very moment. What she says she collected the previous night and measured and then remeasured them again in the morning, and they had grown. Which Buffy says that's a demon thing. She's a demon. Gotta kill her. And Willow is like, holy fuck, this bitch is completely off the reservation.
My BFF has gone fucking nuts.
Yeah. So she convinces her not to do anything yet, but to go and ask Giles what to do. So that, to prevent murder. And Buffy's like, yeah, I should. Yeah. So she goes to Giles, and Willow immediately goes to a payphone. Yes, those are phones that used to be in public that you put money into so you can make a phone call. And she calls Giles to warn him about what she's been saying, what she's thinking, and that she's on her way. Like she's like, bitch done went cray. So Buffy gets to Giles, and she's like, Giles, well, a big ass fucking net falls from who the fuck knows where, somewhere out of the sky, and it captures Buffy. And Xander, Oz, and Giles, go running up and kind of secure her and begin tying her hands and stuff. And Giles believes that Buffy's been possessed by a demon from the encounter she had with them in the woods. And little does he know, no, she's not possessed per se. She's just fucking nuts. And you're going to have to put her down. I'm sorry. A dog with rabies? Got to put it down. So he shoots her right between the eyes. Jesus. No. He says he knows a spell that can force this demon possession to end, but he's got to fuck off to the magic shop to get the supplies. And I'm like, why does Giles and Willow never have any of the supplies for even the most basic of spells? Like, why don't either one of them ever stock up?
That's a good question.
They always have to go, well, I got to make a stop at the Walmart and pick up some essence of dildo. And I'm like, why don't you just have this shit?
Why don't you just have a dildo handy?
Yeah, you're a witch. Shouldn't you have the tools and accoutrements that go with being said witch. Okay, I guess it's
You
just
would
me.
think. You would think.
So now she's tied up and she's trying to convince Oz and Xander that Kathy's evil and has to be stopped. And at one point, I think it's Xander that says he's not sure if he tightened up the knots tight enough.
Right.
And Oz is like, well, we're just going to have to go over there and check. And so they go over there and Xander's like, stay away from the fucking legs. Because, she'd kick their fucking heads off. And at which point, right when they get to her, she stands up, grabs them each, and clunks their fucking heads together. And they knock the fuck out. And she goes, nope, not tight enough. And I'm like, hold the fucking phone. Why are we tying up the Slayer with ropes to start with? Not some type of... Which even Xander brings up later. Like, it's Giles. Doesn't he have some fucking handcuffs, some manacles, something of the nature? He has one of those BDSM fucking cross things that they could have fucking, chained her to. Giles has one.
Right. Like
he does.
Like the Undertaker used to strap people
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. It's Giles, he has one.
Right.
So Buffy gets back to her dorm.
That's a kinky motherfucker.
Oh yeah. He gets back to his dorm she gets back to her dorm and Kathy's waiting. And they decide to talk. But Buffy, quote, accidentally kicks Kathy's throw rug out of place. And Kathy responds by punching her in the fucking face.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck?
I didn't see that one coming. I was like,
Me
that
either.
escalated.
I was like, that fucking escalated.
Yep. And they begin to have a karate fight.
They engage in some fisticuffs.
Where it's immediately apparent that something ain't right with Kathy. Because she shouldn't be able to withstand any pummeling by the Slayer. And yet she's actually kind of kicking Buffy's ass. Buffy reaches up at one point and grabs her, like has her by the fucking face, and her face just tears off. Part of it, like part of her face just tears off, and she is in fact a demon. Just like the two we had seen earlier in the episode. And Buffy's like, I fucking knew it. And I was like, I fucking didn't. And she let's see. Yeah, rips off her face. So they continue their Royal Rumble. At this point, we cut out to the woods, and those two demons now summon this Taparich or Taparanarich or whatever his name is, using the ritual of Maktagar.
Stepanovich. He's Russian.
Okay. Okay. He's Russian. He's a Russian demon.
It's a Russian demon.
At which point, Giles has apparently realized Buffy was right because the toenails are in fact growing still. And so he rushes back, and of course, no Buffy. She's escaped. Xander and Oz are just kind of waking up from their, knock the fuck outness. And then he tells them, the Maktagar are transdimensional demons, and the ritual that she described in her dream is used to steal someone's soul. Because they can recognize their own based on the fact that they don't have souls. So the big plan is that fucking Kathy's been doing this to Buffy all this time, slowly sucking out her soul so that she can get a soul. Therefore, when they come for her, they won't know her. They won't know that it's her. They'll think it's Buffy. They'll take Buffy back to their dimension because Kathy wants to be in this dimension.
To go to college.
Okay,
she left her dimension without permission.
Right, to go to college. And so that's the big plan. Giles begins casting a spell there in his apartment. And just as Kathy is about to what's apparently suck out the remaining little bit of Buffy's soul, it all reverses and it all goes back into Buffy. And she's like, "How the fuck did you do that?" And Buffy's like, I got skills, bitch." At that point, Daddy Demon arrives, and they're talking in Demon again. But basically, he says, "You have no idea how much trouble you're in, young lady." And she's like, she doesn't want to go back. She wants to stay there. And she's like, "I'm 3,000 years old. When are you going to stop treating me like I'm 900? And he's like, "You're fucking going back." And he does a little whoop-de-whoop-de and creates a little portal in the ground that sucks her into it. And then he joins her. He fucks off into the portal. And they all go back to Demon Hell or wherever the fuck they're from. And once you finish this up, James.
So then we cut to what is presumably next day or within the next couple of days. And Willow, as we've seen throughout the episode, who is having her own problems with her roommate, is now moved in with Buffy, and she apologizes for not believing her about Kathy, and Buffy says it's okay and forgives her. And as they're decorating the room, Buffy sits down a sandwich that she was eating, and Willow snatches it up and asks if she's was done with it, and proceeds to take a bite as we zoom in on Buffy watching her intently take a bite of her sandwich.
With murder eyes.
With murder eyes, yes. And that's the end of our episode.
It is.
Joss Whedon has said that this episode is a totally accurate portrayal of roomies. I almost hired a man to kill him when he straightened his rug one time, and he hated me even more. Which, since it's Joss,
it's fucking right. It's Joss.
We can understand.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Would you like to guess our body count this week?
I would. 3.
0.
Fuck. I'm not even close.
You are not close at all. Nobody died this week. Our music.
In my mind, people always die.
Our music this week was Cher.
Believe in life after love, after love, after love, after love.
I know that I'll get through this. Anyway.
Okay. Wait, was that really part of the song?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I only know that one, the hook. That's all I know.
Well, Cher's Believe was a regular part of my playlist for quite a while.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
I like Cher, man. What can I say?
You have a vagina.
Oh my god. 4-star Mary Payne. And as always, Mr. Christoph Beck with our original score. Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
Will you please tell me and our wonderful viewers and listeners
not you.
How many terrible roommates you give this episode on a scale of 1 to 5?
It's a 3 for me.
Okay.
Last week was a 4. This week, I don't know. There wasn't anything wrong with it, and there weren't any big glaring mistakes or anything. I've said this before. It's as long as there's nothing wrong with the episode and there's no just glaring stupidity, then I rate the episode just on how much it entertains me.
Right.
And this one just entertained me at about a 3. Maybe I gave last week's a 4 because it was nice to be back watching Buffy again.
Well, I think last week's episode
was a solid episode.
It was good. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and there was nothing wrong with this episode. Again, I was very happy that we're getting rid of Kathy, and because I didn't like the bitch, which, obviously they made the character unlikable.
Right.
I'm glad Buffy and Willow are now roomies.
Right.
That it'll be simpler for them to make love now.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I'm glad they're roomies. So yeah, it was a solid episode. It just, it was a 3 for me. It was just oh, that was kind of fun. Nothing. There was nothing groundbreaking in this episode. Nothing that really laid any groundwork for anything. It just kind of was what it was, and it was a 3. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right. I think going forward, since you have decided you want me to have you guess our body count every episode,
Uh-huh.
I want you to guess my score every episode.
Okay. So should I do it now before I ask?
Yeah.
Okay. Before I guess, I'm going to say, James.
Yes, sir.
How many secret lesbian lovers do you give this week's episode? And first, let me guess. I'm going to say you're giving it a 3.5.
Okay. I'm actually on board with you. I am giving this week's episode 3 secret lesbian lovers.
Damn,
Secret lovers. That's what we are. Anyway. Yeah, I'm giving it 3. I think it's a fun little self-contained episode. It's not as good as our season premiere, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad episode by any means.
Call it a bottle episode.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a bottle episode.
It's strange because it's like it's only the second. They're already trying to save money.
Right. There is the very brief scene. We see the army, the guys again.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that.
So that's
little weird paramilitary dudes again.
Right. So that's something that creeps up again.
And they're making out for some reason. I'm just like,
but overall, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this episode. It's a fun little self-contained episode, akin to our season premiere. I think our season premiere was executed better,
and it was a little more
than this
meaty,
one. Yeah, but no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this episode. It's a solid 3. I agree. So
all right,
that's it.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Sounds good.
How about if I tell everyone where they can find us on the interwebs? Would you like that?
Nah, fuck them.
Okay, all right.
So yes, James, please inform our lovely, lovely listeners how to contact us.
Go to BuffyRevisited.com, and you are going to find a link to our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our email address, and our OnlyFans account, as always, at nipples. Yep. And any of those places, you can go and reach out to us. Hit us up at the email link that's there. It's buffyrevisited@gmail.com. Email us if you like. Go to YouTube, leave a comment on any of our shows discussing that particular episode. Go to the Facebook page and leave your thoughts and comments about any of the episodes. We post on the Facebook page now at least twice a week. YouTube as well, because we have, as most of you should know, we've added Angel this season, and that drops on Wednesdays. So yeah, hit us up at any of those places. Leave us your reviews, your thoughts, your opinions, your ratings on the shows. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, we love that kind of thing. We love hearing what you guys have to say. We love seeing the discussion in between you guys that happens on the post on the various posts on the various platforms. And I like seeing what weird aspect of the episode you choose to use as your 1 to 5 rating scale as well. It does really tickle me that's kind of become its own thing with you guys when you're giving your ratings for the show. So keep it up. We look forward to all of those comments. And Jeremy has even apparently started reading them prior to us recording the episodes as well. So That's that's pleasant. So,
and we all love you, our great listeners.
we do.
Anyway, so I
No,
was waiting for yeah, we do.
No, yeah, I mean we do. I mean I gushed about it at the beginning of this recording, and kind of didn't want to rehash it all at the end here, but yeah, we love it. Like man, the amount of interaction that's happening on the platforms, now is it's great. Even though it's a small select few of people, I love to see it, and hopefully we can continue to grow that.
It is super-duper-y. Anyway, thank you for joining us this week. Next week will be season 4, episode 2. Let me try that again. Next week will be season 4, episode 3, The Harsh Light of Day. And don't forget to join us this Wednesday for Angel, episode 2, Lonely Heart. I had to look, sorry. So with all that being said, I have been one of your revisitors. I'm Jeremy.
I'm your other revisitor, James.
Ta-ta.